Good morning, Hapeville friends and neighbors. Welcome back to the Hapeville channel. This is Dewey here. This morning, I have a few minutes. I gotta get home by 11. I have a pet sitting gig and they're gonna drop off the dog, but I stopped here at the Hapeville library and I realized that a lot of you have probably not seen the new library. So I figured I'd walk around that, and if I have some time, maybe I'll walk around the park and show you where the dog park is. These are some things that have changed since many of you lived here. But here I am. I'm going to go across the street. I'm on King Arnold right now. You can see right there is Hapeville High School, or it's now the elementary school. Here is the health clinic that you will all remember. I don't know what plans Fulton County has for it, but it's boarded up right now. But we have a new library, and it's the style is called a storefront because it's right up on the street. So you'll remember before where the library is sitting now, this was the front of it, and the actual library was back here, the one built in 1974. It was an award-winning structure, and it sat where the parking lot is right there. So that's what the library looks like. I just went in and picked up some books. I'll show you something really cool up in the front. And of course, the sign is still here for the senior center, which is behind. Something really neat about this library. Good morning, Melissa. It's a beautiful sunny morning. But if you look up under here, it says the sun shines through it. It's not quite doing it right now, but there's an H, an A, it's upside down, a P, an E, a V, an I, an L, and an E. So the overhang says Hapeville, and when the sun hits it just right, it comes right there. Isn't that cool? The apartments that you remember across the way. So I figured it's such a beautiful day, and I'm going to take a walk through the park up here and show you where a lot of you long-timers who grew up here, you'll remember that there were picnic pavilions and stuff up there, but in that space now we've got our dog park. I hope you all are enjoying this day. I certainly am. I actually just ate breakfast at Chick-fil-A, not the new one. What you do is you go over to Virginia Avenue and you use the app and you drive to the catering building and they bring it right out to you. So I just did that, and I have that feeling of, ooh, I shouldn't have eaten that. I always do. I eat it and it's so delicious. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta take a walk. So here's the senior center. There's a little stage and seats over there. They look like they've been there a very long time because it's kind of decaying when you go up and look at it. Good morning, Pam. Nice to see you, my friend. A playground, and then the trail splits both ways. I'll go this way because it'll bring me right back around again. So I'm sure this park has looked very different over the years, but one thing I love is that when I first came here, I was here for quite a few months before Douglas decided to move here, and I was lonely and couldn't figure out where I was or why I was here. Before he came and joined me, but I would come to this park and just walk around because it's just such a beautiful park. I hope you're having a good day, Melissa. Thanks for joining me on this walk. Now this area over here, this neighborhood was built in 1996. It's called Central Park, but before that, you all will remember, it was a bunch of duplexes called Dutch Forest. And they went into quite a lot of disrepair before they finally redeveloped that area in 1996. That is made to look like a tree. It's a cell phone tower, I believe. In this same area, I don't know if it's this exact spot or close to it, but you'll remember there used to be a huge water tower here. You can turn left and go down the path, and that'll take you down to that big field that used to be a quarry. Now you'll see people playing soccer down there, and I think it was filled in like 1974, something like that, around that time, from what I can gather. So here we go back here now where the trail splits. Melissa says, I remember this park so well. My sister lives in Central Park. Does she? And you can actually walk into Central Park right there. There's a sidewalk that brings you right here into the park. So this is the Little Doggy Park. This is like a couple years old now. We ribbon cut on it, I think, in 2019. Oh, you see her fence and backyard. I'm literally right behind her house, huh? So yeah, this is where the little dogs go. You don't see, it's nice to have it here. And I was happy to hear that we got it, but my experience has been 90% of the time I come by and there's nobody using it. And I think it's because, we've all got yards. This is something you'd see in a community without yards, but this is what they decided to do. So I think this area right here, this is the big dog area, by the way. They fenced it in all the way around there, and it's beautiful. This is where I think your main picnic pavilions were back in the day, and the reason I figured that out, yeah, isn't it beautiful? It really is. It's lovely. I just wish I could see more dogs out here. I think the original picnic pavilions were around this area because in them I would see, in pictures from the past, I would see these stone benches in and around the pavilions. But now this one is inside the dog park, which they love. And then there's some more down there. I'll walk around this way because one of the benches you'll remember I really like, it's S-shaped, and I always wonder if when they built it back in the 30s with Workers' Progress Administration money, they built this park. I always wonder, was it meant to be an S or was it just an aesthetic choice? Because I don't see why it would be an S. Wouldn't stand for anything. I think they just did that to make it look cool. That's one of the benches. I think it's so cool. And then of course it goes back down and there's the remnants of an old water fountain still sitting down there. There's our skate park, Hapeville High School. The city pool used to be down there, but now it's community services, city services building. But it's nice and clean up here right now. From what I understand, there are a couple decades where Master Park was not it's not called Master Park anymore, by the way. It's called John G. Lewis Park. But back in the day, I know this is a park that you didn't want to go to for a couple decades, but the whole city was like that at one point. But I always imagine all the Hapeville kids who've probably over the decades, since the late 30s, who've come here to smooch up on the hill. How much of that happened right here? Melissa says, I've never been back there, the pool in the high school. No? Have you not been back into the park? Oh, it's so beautiful. There's another bench up there. I'm gonna walk down to the trail now. I don't know if back in the day the trail was paved for you guys, but it is now, you can see. And it's a beautiful loop through the park. Melissa, if you haven't been here, I highly recommend coming and taking a walk on this trail. It's short, but it's lovely. Here we are at the stone steps that take you down into the baseball fields. There's some old wooden steps that are rotting that will take you up there, which is kind of cool. It feels like you're discovering something. But here you go. This takes you up and over the, I've never been there, but I lived in Hapeville. Are you kidding? Wow, Melissa, this is my favorite part of the town. This is a lovely park. I mean, it's in the summertime, it's so shady back here because of all of the trees and everything. But here you can see the back of what used to be Dutch Forest, but is now Central Park. And this is along the park. This is Meadow Street, and it used to go right up into Dutch Forest. But what's fun is to come here with your bicycle and come down this hill and just coast the whole loop on the hill. But I thought it'd be fun to show this to you guys this morning. I was, like I said, I was at the library anyway, and I have a few minutes before I gotta be to my house. But here's a view looking down. This is the top of the stone steps, the terraced steps that were built as bleachers back in the 30s because they faced what was then the baseball fields. The baseball fields have now been moved over here. And right before the pandemic, they were gonna turn this into a soccer field and a football field, but that's kind of been put on hold, I think, because it doesn't seem like anything's been, but you can see people walk their dogs here a lot. The Scout Hut used to be over there. Back in the 50s, the city had tennis courts right there. It's lovely. And there's a little seating area sitting back here, which has improved considerably. When I got here 4 years ago, there was always a lot of trash, and this was like a secret hangout for folks without a home. You can still see remnants of it. There's garbage. But they keep it pretty clean. Melissa says we had high school yearbook staff pictures. Yes, you did. I see them in the yearbooks all the time. And you'll see photographs of the ROTC, and plenty of photographs from the 50s and 60s of the Little League teams on those. That's pretty much all they ever served for, is a place for photographs. Douglas and I loved them so much that last year, we created, in honor of the victims of the pandemic, we created upon those steps a Luminary Memorial, and it came out beautifully. I'm getting a little dog today named Fletcher. I think I'm gonna bring him over here because it's such a nice day so he can play. But it's nice. It's a beautiful place for a dog park. Melissa says I'm out of breath. I'm 53, y'all. Whew, and I have not exercised this last 2 years. How about you guys? Have you got fat and lazy like I had the last couple of years? Tamara says, I love walking up that hill. It is a lovely spot for watching the sunset as well. I've never watched the sunset up here. But Tamara, when I first got here, I moved here from Manhattan, and Douglas wasn't quite ready to leave all the glitz and glamour that we were experiencing there in Manhattan. And so I was here for 4 months without him, and I would come here. The dog parks weren't here yet. And I would just sit on a bench and cry and cry and cry. As a matter of fact, oh yeah, I won't go there. But it was a very, very difficult time, and I never would have imagined that this place would become my home and I would know it so well and learn so much about it. Good morning, Sue. So now I look fondly upon this place. I remember one day there was an app when I moved here called Periscope, and it's how I kept in touch with all of my fans and friends up in Manhattan. And one day I was doing Periscope. It's like this, it's live. And I walked down there, and I didn't understand what was happening at the time, but I had a panic attack down there. But the whole field was full of clover. So I just laid down in the clover and had a panic attack while I was live streaming. I still have that on video. I kept it because whenever I feel anxiety or stress, I look back at that and point to it for myself and go, look how far you've come. I still have panic attacks, but they don't happen every day. Last one I had was yesterday. Melissa says, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Good morning, Jocelyn. We haven't met in person, I don't think, but boy, you are a gorgeous woman. I love your profile photograph. Good morning, Stacy. So I just thought that I would take a quick walk around the park to show you. Good morning. And we have done that. Yeah, I love this town. I love it. I mean, you guys don't know how obsessed I am. Last night I was, I do this a lot. I just lay in bed and I go to research online, find anything I can about the history of Hapeville, and it's just an obsession. I was like that when I was in Manhattan as well, but that's a city of 8 million people, so it's a little hard to grasp it. But here, it's like 6,500 people at this point. There's the senior center. And so it's a little easier to grasp the history of a town that is now 2.5 square miles tall, so in size. So here's a different view. There's the library real close to the street. The original library was sat right here in the parking lot. It's hard to see because this tree is blocking it, but the piece of art that sat right outside the glass windows is still there. So the 1974 library, the back glass windows were right here. And then the library, and then a big lawn with a little creek in the front. But they built that out to the front. And there you have it. I think they did a great job. It has you can't really see it from this side, but it has elements that are an homage to the airline industry. That is the shape. On the other side, it's red, but it looks like the tail of an airplane. And then inside, they have huge murals on the walls of pictures of airplanes from the airport. Jocelyn said, we met at one of the comedy shows at Arches. Bud and I met you in Douglas. We lived on 4. Oh, I remember. Yes, we did meet, Jocelyn, because the other day, Douglas and I were walking by your house, and you were so kind to say when we met, when you and Bud were out there, you said, next time come by and say hello. We were all vaccinated, and we thought we were coming to the end of this thing. And we were walking by your house the other day, and we so wanted to go knock on your door, but we're like, well, here we are again, not being able to get close to people. Pam says, what brought you to Hapeville? Let me go with Tamara. We appreciate your upset. Thank you. It brings us all together at a time we need it most. I appreciate that. Pam says, what brought you to Hapeville of all the places you could have settled? The short story is, it was February of 2018. It was 9 degrees in Manhattan. My husband and I were separated because he we were part of the RuPaul's Drag Race machine. I told you all about that. And so he would do shows for them, and I chose not to because it meant a lot of traveling. So he was in Europe doing shows, drag shows for RuPaul's Drag Race. I didn't want to go. So it was 9 degrees in Manhattan, and I was feeling depressed. And so I called my friend Maria, who was my comedy partner at Disney World. Stacy said, I have not been by the library since they reopened. Guess I need to check it out. Oh, yes, you do, Stacy. And when I finish my story, Stacy, I'm gonna push the library for a minute and show you how I use it, because it's fantastic. That's why I'm here. I just went there. So Douglas was in Europe. I was in Manhattan. It was 9 degrees. I called my friend Maria, who was my comedy partner at Disney many years ago. And I said, I need to get out of this city. It's 9 degrees. Douglas isn't here. I'm depressed. Frankly, I didn't know if he and our marriage was going to make it. It was tough. And I said, where do you live? And she said, I live in Georgia. And I was like, I don't want to go to Georgia. You know, the reputation when you live in big cities, you hear about Georgia and Mississippi and Alabama, and you generalize, which is always a mistake. And I said, okay, we're in Georgia. She said, right by the airport, it's called Hapeville. And I said, Hapeville? I heard hate, H-A-T-E. I said, that sounds horrible. I said, I'll come down. I came down by train to visit, and I was going to stay for a week. I ended up staying for 2 weeks. Then I ended up clearing out the little house in her backyard and staying for now 4 years. Douglas and I, and then Douglas joined me 4 months later. I said to him, you know, I don't want to come back to New York. I know we're making lots of money and we're getting attention and all that kind of stuff. But it's not working for me. It didn't work for me. For many, many years, I chased the glitz and glamour and the money of fame and all that kind of stuff. And we were experiencing the first levels of it in Manhattan, but I wasn't happy. And so Douglas wasn't ready to give up the golden nugget, so I left. This is overgeneralizing. There were a lot more levels to it. So I left and came down here, and then I realized I wasn't going to go back to New York. And so he came down, and we actually had dinner together, and I said, well, I guess we had a good run, thinking we were going to get divorced. And then he decided to move here. And so we began a new life here in Hapeville. So that's what happened. Never thought we would stay here this long. And sometimes we still go, is this where we're going to be? Is this where we're going to be? So we just live our lives as if we're going to be here for the rest of our lives. Hi, Jack. Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Gene Weathers. Stacy says a train ride between New York and Atlanta takes forever. It does. You did it. Good morning, Lori. But I enjoyed it so much because back then I had the money and I could afford it, so I got my own room on the train. I got my own room. That was my last hurrah of New York. I had my own room on the train and rode it all the way down here, and it was so glamorous and fun. So anyway, that's the long and short of it, Pam. But we're so happy now. The people that we were in New York, we were laying in bed last night talking about it. We were like, wow, who were those people? We're so different now. Okay, so let me go back to Stacy and tell you how I use this library. I don't, because of the pandemic, and you don't see a lot of people doing it, I don't go in and like browse the shelves because I don't want to be inside for too long. Pam says, oh, glad he decided to come. Me too. He does love it here. Thank you, Melissa. Connie says, so sweet, making me emotional, so happy. Thank you. I appreciate that, Connie, and thanks for joining me. Good morning, John. Thank you, Jocelyn. I'm glad that we chose to stay here too. We're just so fortunate. We're so, I'm gonna cry. We're very, very fortunate. We're very fortunate. And timing wise, y'all, we can't believe it. We were like, we got out of, we left New York and came down here, and then the pandemic hit, and we were like, wow, the universe saved us, because I can't even tell you how stressful it was. New York is stressful anyway. Every day is like a fight in every way. And I can't imagine having been there during the pandemic. So we were real lucky that we got what we call our little apartment with a yard down here, because we have that little bungalow. It's so adorable. We love it. And we can go out in our backyard and stretch our arms. And we would do that during the pandemic. We were like, we would never be able to do this in New York. All right, so thank you for saying that, Melissa. So Stacy, I highly encourage you to use the library. This is how I do it. And it's so great. If you've already got your library card, if you don't, get it. Get a library card. You can go right in there and apply for it. And then what you do is you go on to Fulton County, I forget the website, but you go on to the website and you can put in whatever book you're looking for. If you see one on Amazon, don't buy it. This library system, the Fulton County library system, is incredible. They've got everything. I don't think I've ever searched for a book and they don't have it. So rather than go to order from Amazon or get it from the store, I go to the Fulton County website, I put in the name of the book, boop, it pops up, and then it says, which library would you like this book delivered to? And you just do a drop down and you choose Hapeville, and they send you an email and say, your book is here. You walk in that door, there's a shelf, and the book has your name on it, and you don't have to deal with anybody. You go in, you get the book, there's a little machine that you go, boop, like you're checking out at Walmart, and you leave. That's what I just did. And it's so much fun because you feel like you're shopping. When you're online, you go, there's a book, and it's free. So I highly encourage anybody that lives in Hapeville to use the library in that way. It's been a godsend during this pandemic. Oh, you didn't? Oh, yeah, Stacy, spread the word. Spread the word. It is so much fun. And you just walk in, and this is a fun little thing. In the middle of the summer, I'd always treat myself, because I'll show you, I'll walk over there really quickly. I'm like extra careful. We're coming up on 2 years, and Douglas and I have been very fortunate not to get sick at all. So now I'm like, I don't get anywhere near anybody. We're really militant about it. It's like we started a diet 2 years ago and we're like, we're not going to start eating bad yet. But anyway, let me show you. They also have soda machines and a snack machine in here. So in the summer when you come get a book, you can be like, I'm going to get myself a soda too. Good morning, Carol. Tamara says, I've been wondering how to use a library. I need to. Yes, ma'am. Do it. Do it, Tamara. All right, so what I do is I come here. See, I'm avoiding that guy. I come here. I'm parked right there. And I'll show you just real quick. Oh, it's 11. I got to get back to my house. The dog's supposed to come at 11. But that client in particular is usually late. You walk it. You can return the books here. You don't even have to go into the building. You just drop them in there. But look, soda machine, snack machine, meeting room, which they don't use right now, but there's restrooms in case you need them. And then I walk in here, and right there, you just pick the books up right there. You check it out right there, and that is it. Sit here and have a little soda if you want. Maybe I can finish the Terry Goodkind series. I have only read the books that I have found them. Oh, well, go online. You can search without a card. Maybe you can even get your card online. I don't know. But go put in Fulton County Library System and it'll pull up the website, create an account. Anyway, yes, I highly recommend getting your card. But thank you all for being with me this morning. I got to cut it short now because I'm going to go home, and Fletcher is coming. He is one of my favorite puppy clients. He is he looks like an old man. What are those called? Schnauzer. My God, he's such a gentleman too. I love having him with me, so I can't wait. All right. Connie says, oh, I haven't finished the new one yet. Who is that author again? Terry Goodkind, yes. I just finished a really good book called City of Girls by Elizabeth, forgot her last name. Yeah, Carol, if you don't have a card, go ahead and get one. If you're a reader, it's so convenient, y'all. It's lovely, and I'm gonna spread the word even more. I will. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Create yourselves a great day. I really appreciate you joining me. Bye.